Inquiry-based learning occurs when the student processes new information in an exploratory way. A teacher that is educating in an inquiry-based way will revolve their instruction around projects, activities, and research conducted by the students rather than providing direct instruction. The goal is that students will learn by doing rather than by listening. Habits of mind refers to the way that we approach unknown situations. It's the first line of defense after curiosity wins out over fight or flight. A student who is successful in inquiry-based learning will have habits of mind such as fostering their curiosity, critical thinking, and breaking down a problem into steps for solving. I'm a science teacher, so inquiry-based learning is pretty easy for me to do. I like inquiry-based learning for science because the nature of science is to be curious and figure out something new. In physics subjects in particular, which there are a lot on the 8th grade standards in South Carolina for science, I have a couple of activities that I like to do that appear like magic tricks, but are actually really simple applications of Newton's first and second law. So one of the ones that I like to do is I like to get a potato, like a really big potato, and I bring it in. I don't let the kids do this because there's a knife involved. And I get one of my kitchen knives, not a big one, and I insert it into the potato just a little bit, enough to pick it up, but not go all the way through. And then I grab a hammer and I ask them, okay, if I hit the handle on the top, what do you think is going to happen to the potato? Most of the time, their answer is going to be that the potato is going to fall off the knife. But it turns out when you hit the hammer, the potato actually appears to scoot up the knife because the potato has more inertia than the knife that is experiencing the force. So what's happening is the knife is being pushed through the potato. The potato is not actually moving. So that's one of the things that I like to do. It looks like a magic trick, but it's actually just physics, and little activities like that can go a long way for inquiry-based learning. All right, let's find in my paragraph where I left off. So yeah, those little activities get them every time. One activity I like to do specifically is a series of stations with demos of Newton's laws of motion. Each of them demonstrates one of the three laws by requiring the students to perform a very simple task, such as balance a ruler upright and then a meter stick, or blow up a balloon and then release it. By partaking in the demonstrations, rather than just sitting there and watching me do them, unlike the one with the potato and the knife, because I'm not going to let them use a knife in class and a hammer. By partaking in the demonstration, rather than sitting there and watching me do them, they can engage in the material in a much more efficient way to sustain their memory. Cooperative learning is instruction designed around students working together with their teacher. Let me start that over. Cooperative learning is instruction designed around students working together and with their teacher. This is in contrast to competitive learning because it is focused around referencing a criteria basis rather than a norm basis. Using a cooperative learning strategy allows for teachers to observe the structures of interdependence among the students in their class. It's also a learning structure that is representative of most careers in the United States, because honestly, I can't think of a single career where people are not working together besides maybe being a small business owner. Additionally, it requires students to learn communication skills that are necessary for them to become contributing members of society by overcoming differences and working to reach a solution. The three types of cooperative learning are as follows: formal, informal, and base groups. According to Johnson & Johnson in their article, What is Cooperative Learning? Formal cooperative learning consists of students working together for one class period to several weeks to achieve shared learning goals and complete jointly specific tasks and assignments. Teachers are responsible for making pre-instructional decisions, explaining the instructional task and cooperative structure, monitoring students' learning and intervening to provide assistance, and assessing students' learning and helping students process how well their groups functioned. Informal learning consists of having students work together to achieve a joint learning goal in temporary ad hoc groups that last from a few minutes to one class period, as stated by Johnson & Johnson as well in their article. Informal learning consists of a series of discussions, introductory, intermittent, and closing, where the teacher gives directions on questions to be answered in small group discussions before, during, and at the end of the lesson. Cooperative base groups are long-term, heterogeneous, cooperative learning groups with stable membership. This type of cooperative learning is modeled in my classroom as students are placed in groups at the beginning of the semester and led through several group projects that require multiple levels of rigor. Project-based learning is a style of education where the student learns almost exclusively by doing. PBL is a style of learning that is conducive for me as a kinesthetic learner because the act of performing the task itself especially when I have to figure it out on my own, like a puzzle, ingrains the working of the information in my memory better than just listening to a lecture. Project-based learning is always fun to some degree, so it has many benefits to teaching using this strategy. Students rarely sit at a desk for long periods of time, and they tend to feel like they're more in control of the assignment in a healthy way. These aspects of PBL motivate and inspire the students to do well, especially when paired appropriately with types of cooperative learning. PBL connects very well with an integrated curriculum because of the requirements of this type of learning. Students learning through projects not only need to be communicative to the team they're working with, but they also need to be creative in their presentation of the project. Practicing research techniques that extend their thinking is a critical step in developing the students' minds in a way that prepares them for entering a world where they often have to stop and figure things out for themselves. Sorry if my voice sounds a little strange. We went back to school today and I gave several professional development sessions, so my voice is a little shot. But anyway, thanks for tuning in.